The morning sun had just begun to rise, its golden rays stretching across the horizon when Tom's call came through. His voice carried a blend of urgency and something else, something almost superstitious. "Mila, I need you to bring my driver to the golf course. You know I can't play without it." I sighed, familiar with his attachment to that sleek, custom-made golf club. It was more than just equipment to him, it was his lucky charm. As I drove toward the course, the crisp morning air filled my lungs, carrying the scent of freshly cut grass and the promise of a beautiful day. Yet, an unshakable feeling lingered, as though this simple errand would alter my life in ways I couldn't yet understand. When I arrived at the fifth hole, I spotted Tom laughing with his best friends, Jack and Leo. Their camaraderie was a familiar sight, a constant in our lives. But today, something felt different. To the outside world, my life was perfect. At 34, I was married to Tom, my high school sweetheart, for 10 years. He was one of the top real estate agents in town, and together we had built a life of comfort and stability, a home that many envied. But beneath that polished facade lay a truth I seldom admitted, even to myself. Our life, though steady and secure, had grown painfully monotonous. Jack and Leo had been integral to our world for years. Jack, with his effortless charm and infectious laugh, could brighten any room. Leo, quieter and more reserved, was a thoughtful presence, his calm demeanor balancing out Jack's exuberance. They were as different as night and day, yet together they had been like family to us. This particular Saturday morning was no different from the countless ones before it. Tom, Jack, and Leo had set out for their usual round of golf, a ritual as predictable as the sunrise. And true to form, Tom had forgotten his favorite club, the one he swore brought him luck. When his call came, I agreed without hesitation. Not because I had to, but because I understood how much it meant to him. I pulled up to the course, stepping out into the cool morning air as I carried the club toward the trio. Tom's relieved smile greeted me as I handed it over. He pressed a quick kiss to my cheek before turning back to his game. "Stay a while, Mila," Jack suggested, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Let's see if you've got what it takes to play." I hesitated. The idea of breaking my routine, of doing something unplanned, was both thrilling and terrifying. But curiosity won out. Jack eagerly took on the role of instructor. "Hold the club like this," he said, adjusting my grip with his hands. His touch was warm, sparking a flutter in my stomach, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. Leo, ever the quiet observer, offered calm, steady advice. "It's all about the swing," he murmured, adjusting my stance with a gentle touch. I stood there, gripping the club, a mix of excitement and nervousness washing over me. Jack stepped closer, positioning himself behind me, his breath brushing against my ear as he guided my movements. "Swing with your hips, not just your arms," he whispered. The proximity of his body, the warmth of his presence, it was both comforting and unsettling. Under his guidance, I swung the club, feeling an exhilarating surge of energy. The lesson quickly turned playful, then flirtatious. Jack's laughter took on an intensity one hadn't noticed before. Even Leo, typically reserved, grew bolder, his advice laced with a quiet confidence. Jack's hands shifted from the club to my waist. "Feel the rhythm, Mila," he murmured, his voice low and knowing. Leo stepped closer, his fingers brushing against my arm. The simple touch sent a shiver down my spine. What had begun as a casual lesson had transformed into something charged, something electric. Jack's eyes locked onto mine, a silent question lingering between us. Then, without warning, he leaned in and kissed me. The kiss was electric, igniting a spark I hadn't realized I'd been missing. His lips were soft yet insistent, leaving me breathless. Leo, watching from nearby, remained quiet, his expression unreadable. Then, as if drawn by the moment, he reached for my hand, his touch firm yet gentle. His dark eyes held mine, filled with an intensity that sent another jolt through me. I stood frozen, caught between them, the air thick with unspoken tension. Then, as if on cue, a voice shattered the haze. "Mila." Tom's tone carried a mixture of confusion and pain. His wide eyes took in the scene before him, his presence cutting through the charged atmosphere like a cold gust of wind. The surge of excitement collided sharply with reality, leaving me breathless. But what shocked me most wasn't just my actions, it was Tom's reaction. He didn't erupt in anger. He didn't demand an explanation. He simply stood there, his silence heavier than any accusation. Jack's grip on me tightened, as if daring Tom to challenge him. Leo edged closer, his calm demeanor masking something deeper, something defiant. I caught a glimpse of Tom's internal struggle, his love for me warring with a betrayal unfolding before him. "Tom," I whispered, my voice barely audible over the rapid pounding of my heart. I don't know what's happening." He didn't answer. He just watched. Jack kissed me again, his actions bold and unyielding. Leo's hand rested on my back, grounding me in the chaos. Their attention was intoxicating, yet impossible to ignore was the silent plea in Tom's gaze. The moments stretched endlessly, the sun dipping lower, casting a golden glow over the scene. Then, the weight of my choices hit me like a tidal wave. I had betrayed Tom, not once, but twice. And I had done it right before his eyes. That night, Tom and I had the hardest conversation of our lives. He forgave me, not out of weakness, but because he understood. He had sensed my longing for something different, something he believed he couldn't give me. His stillness that day hadn't been acceptance. It had been the painful acknowledgement of a fracture we had ignored for far too long. Jack and Leo faded from our lives, their presence a painful reminder of that day. But Tom and I, somehow, we rebuilt. Not out of duty, but out of a renewed commitment to rediscover each other. We embraced adventure. We danced. We hiked. We traveled to places far removed from our comfort zone. And with each experience, we found pieces of what we had lost. One evening, as we moved together under the soft glow of a dance studio, Tom whispered, "Is this what you were searching for?" His voice carried vulnerability, but also determination. I met his gaze, my heart full. "Yes," I murmured. "But only with you, Tom. It's always been you." Our journey wasn't without its challenges. The shadows of that day lingered, moments when trust felt fragile. But each time, we confronted them together, peeling back the layers we had long kept hidden. And in that openness, we found a love that was no longer perfect, but real and unshakable.